Good morning, everyone. Commissioner Ace Coach 704 PEL Primetime Elite League. We're looking at the power rankings, first time in season 3. A little behind, but we're going to catch up right now. What you see on the screen are the standings, and pretty much the way I do this is I rank them, just with my feelings within the loss groups, and that pretty much constitutes how the power rankings go about. So, we have two teams on auto right here that have no wins. So, number 32 are the Titans. Number 31 are the Chargers. Number 30 are the Eagles. Eagles at 0-6. He is an Eagles fan. We're glad to have him in the league. The roster, he's got a little problem at quarterback. He got McMillan in the trade. But he's young, so he's trying to play with him. But there's some good young talent on that team, and he'll have an off season to kind of get that together a little bit coming up, and then we'll see what happens from there. All right, so then we're within the group of 4 losses. So just looking at this group, I think number 29 would be the Broncos. He's had a couple sim losses thrown in there, but we're glad he's back, getting back into the flow of the game, getting back used to it. Number 28 out of this group, I would say it would be the probably the Jets. They're a better team, but playing some stiff competition early on in the season. 1-4 record, nothing to be ashamed of, but that's where they are right now. 27, I'm going with the Packers. They made a few moves, but they've lost 4 in a row, unfortunately. I know someone was looking for a tight end, and he said Andrews was available for the right price, which with the Gape is a high one. 26 are the Cowboys. 1-4, lost 2 in a row, trying to figure some things out. I think he said Dak Prescott got hurt, so that always throws a little monkey wrench into what you want to do there on offense. Alright, so then 25 will be out of the 3-loss group, which we have several candidates for that. But I'm going to go with the Lions. The Lions have missed a couple games. Then they only have 1 win. 24 would be the Steelers. I think their 1 win was a force. Or a sim win. I think it was a sim win. So that's where those 2 teams are. And then that brings us to 23. And then out of this group, just looking at the numbers, man. 23 would have to be the 49ers. 2-3 start. They played the Rams tough, but they ended up losing that game. But they're hanging in there, man. 2-3 is not a bad start for those guys. They made a lot of changes, and they're still trying to get used to everything. Still here early in season 3. 22 out of this group would have to be the Raiders. I think he got 1 win and then 1 forced win. So 1 on the field, 1 forced, 2-3. But in that AFC West, with the way things are going, he's probably the second best team over there, this season. So take advantage of it, and, who knows, you might, be able to sneak into playoffs. Tough to do in the AFC, but it could happen. Where are we at? 21? I don't know. The next team, in my opinion, would be the Bears. Pretty balanced. They hadn't given up a lot of points, but they haven't scored many this year. That's the next team in the power rankings for me. Got off to a kind of a slow start, but you see they won 2 in a row. The next team, I guess, would be the Dolphins. They went on auto for a little bit. Not their typical record. They're usually a playoff team in the AFC, but I have every confidence they'll bounce back and they'll get right back into the thick of things. The next team would be the Cardinals. Pretty good point against differential. Won their last game. Don't know who that it was against, but good job. 2-3, obviously still in contention. Still trying to get things going. And then that jumps us into the 3-win teams here. Just looking over everything, the next team for me would be the Patriots, because I don't think all those wins came on the field. I know they did have a good win over the Bills, and I know they have the same record, but looking at the overall body of work, I had to put the Patriots there. We've got a lot of 3-win teams. Well, my next team will be the Colts because they're at 2-2. But we know they're a good player. Hopefully we've gotten the playing issues straightened out in terms of coverage and playing 30% man and mixing your plays and all that good stuff that we always talk about. The next team, well, I will have to go with the Vikings. I just played him. He's got an injury at quarterback. He played a young quarterback and played well with him. But, still they got a really strong defense. A lot of good players over there. Perennial playoff team in the NFC. And I know in the end, he's going to be there in that division as well as in the NFC playoff race. The next team I'm going to go with would be the, let's see, Buccaneers. 3 in a row. Good job bouncing back after a tough start. Glad to see that. I'm always glad to see people that, get better as time goes on, and that's what the Bucs are doing right now at 3-2. Good job. The next team would have to be the Bills. They've become a perennial playoff team in the AFC. Hadn't broken through just yet into the elite, but they're a very good team at 3-2. Giving up more points than I usually see, but I don't know if that's the cause of Sims or whatever. But, they're going to be a formidable opponent as always. The next team I'm going to go with are the Jaguars at 3-2. I know he's got a couple of forced wins, lost 2 in a row, but he's got about a Pro Bowl team on that roster. So making 900 trades. But, it's in a tough division, the AFC South, and once again, it's going to be a hell of a race. I know the Titans are on auto, but they won't be in it. But between, the Colts, the Jags, and the Texans, that's going to be a fun one to watch. The next team I'm going to go with are the Redskins, also 3-2. They lost 2 in a row, but, offensively, they're going to be trying to push the ball down the field with Alex Smith and friends. I think he got the young quarterback now, I'm sorry. But that doesn't change what they're going to do offensively. And hopefully we got the glitching out of the way. And the YouTube watching has ceased, I hope. And hopefully the patch has eliminated some of these ridiculous things, although I don't think so. The next team where I'm going to look at is, and I'm not doing this, but the Panthers will be next. We're 3-2. Honestly, I feel like we should be 4-1. Didn't play well against the Falcons. Had some funny things happen in that game that contributed to that. But lost the game out the last second against the Chiefs that I felt like I should have won for a couple reasons. I feel like we've played pretty well overall. I think defensively I got to figure some things out, but offensively I'm very happy with Derek Carr. The Falcons game notwithstanding, but we'll get that straightened out. And we're on the edge of a top 10 team. I don't know what number I'm on, but I think that's where we are. And then of course next would be the Texans. I know he's missed a couple games. I know he had some a death in the family, and my prayers go out to you, Levi, for that, and I hope everything's going well. But we know, he's the only Super Bowl champ I recognize. And, he's going to be there once again in the AFC. All right, so now we're into the top groups, I guess you would say, the top group. And that's these teams you see on the screen right here. And hopefully my microphone's on. I'm hoping I'm just not talking and nothing's coming out. I'm doing it so late. But anyways, the next team I would say would be the really good group here so far this year, but we'll go with the Ravens. I know he had a tough loss to the Bengals, but that's his only loss so far this season. Very good player, very sim player. Proud to have him here in the league. That's all I really got to say. Saints would be next. There's a couple of force wins or sim wins in there. Did lose this week to the Bears, which was a bit surprising, but once again, I think the record is a little bit inflated, but hopefully over time, that gets balanced out. But Reggie is a good player. The next team, I would say out of this group, some teams are playing really well this year. I'll say the Seahawks. A new guy. I'm very glad to have him. I've got good reports on him. I've watched him play. Sim guy. Very talented roster, of course. But at 4-1, doing really well. Right there in the thick of things in the NFC as far as the playoffs go, which we'll take a look at here. Separate video on that coming up shortly. The Browns will be the next team I look at. The point differential is really strong. Very talented team. I think the only loss might be a sim or force. Not a force. I think it might be a sim loss. But they're going to be right there in the AFC once again. Those young guys are growing up like Tony Flash and all the other guys that Cleveland has that are really good. And in season 3, that's when those guys really start to blossom. So they're going to be another team to really look out for all year long. The next team in this group, I must say, and you see the numbers there, and I'm going to go with the Bengals, because the Bengals at 5-1 have done a really good job in holding on to the right kind of assets and then shaping the team around a good vision. And that's what ideally the league is about. And plus, he maximized the development upgrades from doing the articles and everything. And that's what you're supposed to do. He hasn't made a ton of trades. He's made smart draft decisions. He's developed his guys. And he got together a plan in his mind of what he wanted that team to look like. And now he's 5-1. That's what I encourage everyone to start doing here. Trading is not the answer. Trades are for when you have an immediate need and you feel like you can give up something in a fair deal to get something back that helps your roster. Say you have an abundance of running backs and you need an offensive lineman. You put a running back up and try to get a decent offensive lineman to help you out. That's what trades are for. Some of you guys are here just to trade. And that's got to chill out, man, because you're not going to get better by just moving everybody on your roster. The numbers are the numbers. You get caught up in a name, you get caught up in something else. So you got to be smarter in roster building. And I commend the Bengals for doing that. Thank you. I just had to say that. I'm sorry. Giants would be next on my list. Great job this year at 4-1. I knew when Kyle would have time to sit down and play the game and get into it, he was going to do a good job, because he's done that the past few years. And then we all get kind of busy and we get a little off. But when you got time to sit down and get into it, he does a good job. The next team will be the Falcons. The Falcons at 4-1. I would pin them as the favorite to win the division and probably get a bye this year in the NFC. Once again, the Falcons got what they wanted in the draft to kind of change the vision of their team on offense. And defensively, they built a team that is built around a good pass rush, and that amplifies all the other things on the backside with speed in the linebacking core, and then good safeties that can help and play hybrid coverage. And that is a really tough thing to go against. And I commend Ben for how he's built his team. And screw all of you for letting Polo Thomas go to the second round. That's your idiot decisions. Anyway, number 2 are the Chiefs at 4-0, and then number 1 are the Rams, 6-0, and this is pretty much where we expected those guys to be all year long, well, all Madden long, to be honest with you. Rams are a very talented team on both sides of the ball, and then the offseason just made them better. And now you see where they are. 6-0, and pretty much running things. All right, so that's 15 minutes of your life you can't get back, and those are the power rankings. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, and thank you for your continued support of the PEL Primetime Elite League.